Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. In order to form an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must, above all, be a sheep. I never think of the future. It comes soon enough. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. Most teachers waste their time by asking questions that are intended to discover what a pupil does not know, whereas the true art of questioning is to discover what the pupil does know or is capable of knowing. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. The only source of knowledge is experience. A question that sometimes drives me hazy. Am I or are the others crazy? The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Learn from yesterday. Live for today. Hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Truth is what stands the test of experience. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher plane of knowledge, but can never prove how it got there. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. I think and think for months and years. 99 times. The conclusion is false. The 100th time I am right. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. Creativity is intelligence having fun. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. All religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, require creative imagination and marks real advance in science. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. I am thankful for all of those who said no to me. It's because of them I'm doing it myself. Unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. Never give up on what you really want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than the one with all the facts. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. Imagination is everything. It is a preview of life's coming attractions. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. Education is not the learning of facts. It's rather the training of the mind to think. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices and chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly. The difference between genius and stupidity is that genius has its limits. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. Information is not knowledge. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Once you stop learning, you start dying. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited pos equals 1.0s, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. Stimulating progress. Giving birth to evolution. I love to travel, but I hate to arrive. The moon does not simply disappear when we are not looking at it. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. A happy man is too satisfied with the present to dwell too much on the future. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Nothing truly valuable arises from ambition or from a mere sense of duty. It stems rather from love and devotion towards men and towards objective things. The only way to escape the corruptible effect of praise is to go on working. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. A ship is always safe at shore, but that is not what it's built for. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. Anger dwells only in the bosom of fools. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. Two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, and I am not sure about the universe. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. Weak people revenge. Strong people forgive. Intelligent people ignore. A human being is part of a whole called bias, the universe. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. In order to form an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must, above all, be a sheep. I never think of the future. It comes soon enough. Only one who devotes himself to a cause with his whole strength and soul can be a true master. For this reason, mastery demands all of a person. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. Most teachers waste their time by asking questions that are intended to discover what a pupil does not know, whereas the true art of questioning is to discover what the pupil does know or is capable of knowing. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. The secret to creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. Nothing happens until something moves. A true genius admits that Hesh knows nothing. I'd rather be an optimist and a fool than a pessimist and right. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. I am by heritage a Jew, by citizenship a Swiss, and by makeup a human being, and only a human being, without any special attachment to any state or national entity whatsoever. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit, and a violin. What else does a man need to be happy? 3 rules of work. Out of clutter find simplicity. From discord find harmony. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. The world is not dangerous because of those who do harm, but because of those who look at it without doing anything. The years of anxious searching in the dark, with their intense longing, their alternations of confidence and exhaustion, and final emergence into light. Only those who have experienced it can understand that. Imagination is the highest form of research. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. The search for truth is more precious than its possession. Wisdom is not a product of schooling, but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. As a human being, one has been endowed with just enough intelligence to be able to see clearly how utterly inadequate that intelligence is when confronted with what exists. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care they don't have any of their own. The present is theirs, the future, for which I really worked, is mine. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Of all things, I liked books best. Antisocial behavior is a trait of intelligence in a world full of conformists. The day science begins to study on physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success. Such emotions make a man forget food, sleep, friends, love, everything. A new idea must not be judged by its immediate results. I could only achieve success in my life through self-discipline, and I applied it until my wish and my will became one. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be seen to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Every living being is an engine geared to the wheelwork of the universe. Those seemingly affected only by its immediate surrounding. The sphere of external influence extends to infinite distance. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. We all make mistakes, and it is better to make them before we begin. Our entire biological system, the brain, and the earth itself work on the same frequencies. Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantities and can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other of the common fuels. I'm even grateful to Einstein and others because through their erroneous theories they lead mankind away from that dangerous path I followed. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to the universe. My brain is only a receiver in the universe. No free energy device will ever be allowed to reach the market. Inventors don't have time for married life. Throughout the infinite, the forces are in a perfect balance, and hence the energy of a single thought may determine the motion of a universe. Let the future tell the truth, and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs. The future, for which I have really worked, is mine. It's not the love you make. It's the love you give. The idea came like a flash of lightning, and in an instant the truth was revealed. I am trying to awake the energy contained in the air. These are the main sources of energy. What is considered as empty space is just a manifestation of matter that is not awakened. Our virtues and our failings are inseparable. Like force and matter, When they separate, man is no more. I have always been ahead of my time. Love. I recognize the emotion for what it is, an irrational self-destructive impulse, which is disguised as joy. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. When wireless is fully applied, the Earth will be converted into a huge brain, capable of response in every one of its parts. Great moments are born great opportunity. The Buddhist expresses it in one way, the Christian in another, but both say the same: we are all one. You may live to see man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. Each day we go to our work in the hope of discovering. Perhaps I failed, but I did my best. These masters of mind may do the rest. Peace can only come as a natural consequence of universal enlightenment. The opinion of the world does not affect me. I have placed as the real values in my life what follows when I am dead. The desire that guides me in all I do is the desire to harness the forces of nature to the service of mankind. Everyone should consider his body as a priceless gift from one whom he loves above all. A marvelous work of art, of indescribable beauty and mystery beyond human conception, and so delicate that a word, a breath, a look, nay, a thought may injure it. There is no energy in matter other than that received from the environment. My belief is firm in a law of compensation. The true rewards are ever in proportion to the labor and sacrifices made. I do not think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men. In a crystal we have clear evidence of the existence of a formative life principle. And though we cannot understand the life of a crystal, it is nonetheless a living being. Originality thrives in seclusion free of outside influences. But instinct is something which transcends knowledge. We have, undoubtedly, certain finer fibers that enable us to perceive truths when logical deduction, or any other willful effort of the brain, is futile. Though free to think and act, we are held together, like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable. These ties cannot be seen, but we can feel them. Life is and will ever remain an equation incapable of solution, but it contains certain known factors. Invention is the most important product of man's creative brain. The ultimate purpose is the complete mastery of mind over the material world, the harnessing of human nature to human needs. We crave for new sensations, but soon become indifferent to them. The wonders of yesterday are today common occurrences. The individual is ephemeral. Races and nations come and pass away, but man remains. The gift of mental power comes from God, divine being, and if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. My mother had taught me to seek all truth in the Bible. So astounding are the facts in this connection that it would seem as though the Creator himself had electrically designed this planet. Marconi is a good fellow. Let him continue. He is using 17 of my pants. Most persons are so absorbed in the contemplation of the outside world that they are wholly oblivious to what is passing on within themselves. Most certainly, some planets are not inhabited, but others are, and among these there must exist life under all conditions and phases of development. The carrying out into practice of a crude idea as is being generally done is, I hold, nothing but a waste of energy, money and time. The idea of atomic energy is illusionary, but it has taken so powerful a hold on the minds that although I have preached against it for 25 years, there are still some believe it to be realizable. There is something within me that might be illusion, as it is often case with young, delighted people. But if I would be fortunate to achieve some of my ideals, it would be on the behalf of the whole of humanity. When natural inclination develops into a passionate desire, one advances towards his goal in 7 lead boots. Pos 2.0. The progressive development of man is vitally dependent on invention. Pos 2.0. It is the most important product of his creative brain. One may feel a sudden wave of sadness and rake his brain for an explanation when he might have noticed that it was caused by a cloud cutting off the rays of the sun. As I review the events of my past life, I realize how subtle are the influences that shape our destinies. It is not in the shallow physical imitation of men that women will assert first their equality and later their superiority. but in the awakening of the intellect of women. These are only new devices for putting the weak at the mercy of the strong. One has to be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. I am credited with being one of the hardest workers, and perhaps I am. If thought is the equivalent of labor, for I have devoted to it almost all of my waking hours. My project was retarded by laws of nature. The world was not prepared for it. It was too far ahead of time. But the same laws will prevail in the end and make it a triumphal success. There is scarcely a subject that cannot be mathematically treated, and the effects calculated or the results determined before and from the available theoretical and practical data. I had admired the works of artists, but to my mind they were only shadows and semblances. The inventor, I thought, gives to the world creations which are palpable, which live and work. Deficient observation is merely a form of ignorance and responsible for the many morbid notions and foolish ideas prevailing. Merciless is the law of nature, and rapidly and irresistibly we are drawn to our doom. The by far greater number of human beings are never aware of what is passing around and within them, and millions fall victims of disease and die prematurely just on this account. And led me to finally recognize that I was but an automaton, devoid of free will and thought, and action, and merely responsible to the forces of the environment. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Some day is not a day of the week. Hire character, train skill. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Sales are contingent upon the attitude of the salesman, not the attitude of the prospect. Everyone lives by selling something. If you are not taking care of your customer, your competitor will. The golden rule for every businessman is this: Put yourself in your customer's place. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. The best leaders are those most interested in surrounding themselves with assistants and associates smarter than they are. They are frank in admitting this and are willing to pay for such talents. Beware of monotony. It's the mother of all the deadly sins. Nothing is really work unless you would rather be doing something else. Without a customer, you don't have a business. All you have is a hobby. To be most effective in sales today, it's imperative to drop your sales mentality and start working with your prospects as if they've already hired you. Pretend that every single person you meet has a sign around his or her neck that says, "Make me feel important." Not only will you succeed in sales, you will succeed in life. It's not just about being better. It's about being different. You need to give people a reason to choose your business. Being good in business is the most fascinating kind of art. Making money is art and working is art, and good business is the best art. Be patient with yourself. Self-growth is tender. It's holy ground. There's no greater investment. Without hustle, talent will only carry you so far. Working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. I'd rather regret the things I've done than regret the things I haven't done. I didn't get there by wishing for it or hoping for it, but by working for it. Always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later. The key to life is accepting challenges. Once someone stops doing this, he's dead. Move out of your comfort zone. You can only grow if you are willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when you try something new. Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. How dare you settle for less when the world has made it so easy for you to be remarkable? Energy and persistence conquer all things. Perseverance is failing 19 times and succeeding the 20th. Grit is that extra something that separates the most successful people from the rest. It's the passion, perseverance, and stamina that we must channel in order to stick with our dreams until they become a reality. Failure after long perseverance is much grander than never to have a striving good enough to be called a failure. The secret of joy in work is contained in one word: excellence. To know how to do something well is to enjoy it. Develop success from failures. Discouragement and failure are two of the surest stepping stones to success. Action is the foundational key to all success. The ladder of success is best climbed by stepping on the rungs of opportunity. Formula for success: rise early, work hard, strike oil. The difference between a successful person and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. It is your determination and persistence that will make you a successful person. You can waste your lives drawing lines, or you can live your life crossing them. Determine that the thing can and shall be done, and then we shall find the way. Done is better than perfect. Don't ask if your dream is crazy. Ask if it's crazy enough. The act of doing something undoes the fear. Be poor, humble, and driven. Don't be afraid to shift or pivot. Number 1, make good decisions. Number 2, everything else. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. I never dreamed about success. I worked for it. Don't think about making art. Just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. While they are deciding, make even more art. I am deliberate and afraid of nothing. I began to realize how important it was to be an enthusiast in life. He taught me that if you are interested in something, no matter what it is, go at it full speed ahead. Embrace it with both arms, hug it, love it, and, above all, become passionate about it. Lukewarm is no good. Hot is no good either. White hot and passionate is the only thing to be. We have a strategic plan. It's called doing things. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Sometimes you've got to work a little so you can ball a lot. Go to your desire and don't hang around here. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. Now tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Find out who you are and do it on purpose. Some people want it to happen. Some people wish it would happen. Others make it happen. To be contented, that's for the cows. The man on top of the mountain didn't fall there. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. I always did something I was a little not ready to do. I think that's how you grow. When there's that moment of, wow, I'm not really sure I can do this, and you push through those moments. That's when you have a breakthrough. Make it work. Never let go of that fiery sadness called desire. In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. The worst thing you can do is nothing. Live every week like it's Shark Week. Challenges are gifts that force us to search for a new center of gravity. Don't fight them. Just find a new way to stand. What would you do if you weren't afraid? Don't think about your errors or failures. Otherwise, you'll never do a thing. Life is short. Don't be lazy. It is not true that people stop pursuing dreams because they grow old. They grow old because they stop pursuing dreams. 1. Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet. 2. Never give up work. Work gives you meaning and purpose, and life is empty without it. 3. If you are lucky enough to find love, remember it is there and don't throw it away. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Blame it or praise it. There is no denying the wild horse in us. F times Q. Pay me. You can have unbelievable intelligence. You can have connections. You can have opportunities fall out of the sky. But in the end, hard work is the true, enduring characteristic of successful people. Focused, hard work is the real key to success. Keep your eyes on the goal, and just keep taking the next step towards completing it. If you aren't sure which way to do something, do it both ways, and see which works better. Whatever the job you're asked to do at whatever level, do a good job because your reputation is your resume. Do what you can with all you have, wherever you are. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Enjoy your sweat because hard work doesn't guarantee success, but without it, you don't have a chance. The moment we believe that success is determined by an ingrained level of ability as opposed to resilience and hard work, we will be brittle in the face of adversity. I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. Some people dream of success while others wake up and work. Opportunities don't happen. You create them. Success is not a destination, but the road that you're on. Being successful means that you're working hard and walking your walk every day. You can only live your dream by working hard towards it. That's living your dream. Rarely have I seen a situation where doing less than the other guy is a good strategy. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. If you want to achieve excellence, you can get there today. As of this second, quit doing less than excellent work. Often, I feel that projects overwhelm us when we look at how many hours are involved until completion. But just getting started is usually not that difficult. The 2 most important requirements for major success are, first, being in the right place at the right time, and second, doing something about it. If you genuinely want something, don't wait for it. Teach yourself. Be impatient. We generate fears while we sit. We overcome them by action. Success depends upon previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. There are people who make things happen. There are people who watch things happen. And there are people who wonder what happened. To be successful, you need to be a person who makes things happen. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. The first step toward success is taken when you refuse to be a captive of the environment in which you first find yourself. Failure is not our only punishment for laziness. There is also the success of others. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse.